Welcome everyone, and have you ever wanted to play your favourite Nintendo Switch game using a mouse and keyboard rather than the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller? I know I have actually googled on more than one occasion how to use a keyboard and mouse with Nintendo Switch so I could play Fortnite. But after over 2 years of not finding a solution, the kind folks over at Supreme Factory hit me up with the KX Adaptor. This will actually allow you to use keyboard and mouse on Nintendo Switch so you can play your favourite competitive games such as Fortnite, Warface, Warframe, stuff like that, or even epic adventure games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can actually play them with a keyboard and mouse. And the great thing is as well, it is actually compatible for Xbox One, PS4 and even PlayStation 3. Now I know some games on the Xbox One and PS4 you can already use keyboard and mouse. I know Fortnite is definitely one of them. You can actually use keyboard and mouse on Xbox One or PS4, but there's so many games out there where it would be better to just use a keyboard and mouse. Doom Eternal launched earlier this year, and obviously on PC you use keyboard and mouse, but on PS4 and Xbox One you can't. And let's face it, first person shooter games are so much better with a keyboard and mouse, and with the KX Adaptor you can actually play Doom Eternal on console with a keyboard and mouse. So in this video what we are going to be doing, we are going to be unboxing it. I'm going to sort of show it off to you guys. We're going to be hooking up my mechanical keyboard and mouse, and we are going to jump into some games. We're going to sort of check out Fortnite, maybe some other stuff as well. We're sort of going to see what it's like, whether it's actually a viable option, and whether anyone that's wanting to use keyboard and mouse in some of those games should actually get it, or whether maybe just get a PC or something like that. But to tell you the truth, I prefer use my Nintendo Switch for things. I play Warface on the Switch, I play Fortnite on the Switch. I really want to play Warframe on the Switch. I do keep meaning to do that, and I imagine games like Breath of the Wild could be a lot of fun to play with keyboard and mouse, so hopefully the KX Adaptor will make that happen. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Hopefully you guys going to enjoy the video today. If you do, be sure to slap a like on the video, subscribe with those notifications on, and if you found this video because you're trying to use keyboard and mouse on Nintendo Switch to play Fortnite, and you want to say thanks for helping you guys out and support the channel even further, please consider using code Doodles in the shop. It really does help us out, and yeah, let's try this thing out. So right, first things first, when you open the box, it is pretty straightforward. All you get inside is the adapter itself, the manual, and to tell you the truth, apart from the fact that the manual's got the keybinds in, it's pretty self-explanatory to set up. So I like that about the product. It is very, very straightforward. But as you can see, you've got the product itself. It connects via USB to whichever platform you're using. And what it's got is a keyboard adapter, a controller adapter, and a mouse adapter. So you need to plug your keyboard and mouse in the 2 USB slots, and then the one with the controller is where the PS4 Xbox One controller goes. However, you don't need it for the Switch, which is fantastic. You only need the keyboard and mouse. Another cool thing is that there's actually an adapter which converts it to USB-C for if you are playing using the Switch in handheld mode, which I think is a really nice touch. Now, as you can see, once you connect it up, the lights do flash and they do stay on once it is fully connected. For this one though, I'm going to be using my Switch in dock mode. So I just plug the USB cable into the Switch dock itself, and as you can see, the green light has come on, and then as I connect up the keyboard and mouse, the other LEDs will start to light up as well. As you can see there, as it's connected up, the keyboard is turned on and the LEDs have came on. Now, one great thing to note is that it is very, very compatible with any keyboard pretty much. I've got a £30 keyboard from China, a TechNet one, not a big brand like a Razer or HyperX, and it worked right off the bat, so no compatibility issue there. Right, let's dive into Fortnite now. I've got to say, this was a lot harder than I expected it to be, mainly because the keybinds can't be changed, because obviously the game still thinks that you're using the controller, so you're pretty much stuck with the keybind that it sets. And to tell you the truth, they are not the most optimal keybinds in the world, but I suppose if you have never played Fortnite with a keyboard and mouse, then you could probably adapt. And now I will put my keybinds on screen, because I did go into the settings and change some of the buttons around on the Switch controller, which in turn changed the keybinds. And to tell you the truth, it's probably as good as I'm going to make it. And yeah, pretty much just see what works for you. But one thing to note is that it does obviously use your controller settings, so your ADS settings, your lux settings and that. And also when you're building, obviously you can have like the acceleration, like you can have 2 times build speed. It does take that into account because it's not actually using a keyboard and mouse, or so it thinks. So obviously be aware that you may have to change your settings a lot. So if you do use a controller already, you may want to write them down just to be on the safe side. But when it comes to aiming, it wasn't as smooth as playing keyboard and mouse on Fortnite on PC. Obviously, it is running at 30 FPS, and it is also thinking that it is a controller rather than a keyboard and mouse, so that probably had something to do with it. And when it comes to editing, it's quite confusing because obviously on a keyboard and mouse normally you press your edit button, you hold the left mouse click, and then you just do whatever you want in terms of the edit. But with this, because it's actually running off a controller, you've got to press your build button and then obviously go into edit mode. Then you've got to hold whatever the edit button is and then move it around, so it kind of takes double the work to do the edits. And for this reason, obviously it is a little bit confusing trying to figure it out. And now obviously in these clips here, I'm not playing very good at all, so I'm actually going to show you a little few clips in the course of this video of me actually doing the same edit course and aim course on PC to sort of show that I'm just not a complete bot. But I think with time, I think this would get a bit easier. As you'll see through this video, this section of the video, I'm getting a little bit better at it as I sort of put more time in. There you go, like the edit wasn't clean, but it was a lot better than those first ones. So I think one of the main things is pretty much just give it time. Obviously, this is me within like sort of 5 minutes of using this for the first time, using the keybinds that I'm not used to, and also taking into the account that I'm not a keyboard and mouse player anyway. I play Fortnite primarily on controller. I literally mess around and save the world on keyboard and mouse, and that's about it. I'm not a big keyboard and mouse player right now. Maybe one day in the future, but right now I am still a controller player. So obviously my aim skills aren't that great anyway, and then taking into account the fact that it's actually running on a Switch rather than an actual PC. But overall, I've got to say, as I sort of got into it, I did get a little bit better. And now moving on to the build, and now this was probably one of the most confusing aspects, because obviously with a regular keyboard and mouse, you press your build bind, you go into build mode, and then you basically hold or tap left click on the mouse and that places the build. But on a controller, because of turbo building, you just hold down the button you want to build with and it just turbo builds the build. So it might have actually been easier to take turbo build off. It may have been easier to do that. Because basically this was just placing builds all over the place and made it a lot harder to actually place the builds and build confidently. But like I said, give it time, it'll probably be okay. Right now we're diving into some gameplay. Now this is basically just a couple of highlights from the Team Rumble game that I played. I think I got like 14 kills in this, which wasn't honestly that bad, except that there that did not go to plan. But yeah, overall I think sort of as time went on, I did sort of improve. Now I did find the building aspect a lot harder than anything else when sort of playing against actual players, but thankfully it was Team Rumble and it was late at night, so the quality of players wasn't really that high. Which is good, because obviously my skills right now using this thing were not that good either. But like I said, 14 kills still not bad at all. Building on this thing in sort of a real sort of world situation was so much harder than anticipated. It was much harder than the edit course. But once again, I've said it so many times already, just give it time and you probably figure it out. It's all about adapting to it. Obviously it's a new input mechanic. You're kind of tricking the Switch into thinking that you're using a controller when you're not. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time just to get things right. And yeah, I could probably nail it over time. Give it a few hours, give it a few days, and I see no reason why I probably wouldn't be able to play somewhat confidently on the Switch. And maybe that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm actually going to jump into some solo games, record it as a video, and yeah, hopefully get a solo win using a keyboard and mouse on the Nintendo Switch. So if you are wanting to see that, make sure that you click the subscribe button, because it should be a lot of fun and it also should be very, very stressful to say the least. But yeah, I'm down for it. So overall, my final thoughts just before we get to the outro of the video. I think it's a great concept. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to work, to tell you the truth. It was not as easy as I expected, but give it time, it'll probably be okay. And like I say, if you want to use keyboard and mouse on the Switch, this is pretty much your only option or best option right now. It would have been nice if the keybinds were at least changeable. Obviously, I know the Switch thinks it's a controller, but there's no reason why the adapter couldn't let you change the keybinds. But maybe it's a hardware limitation, maybe it's tech limitation, I'm not entirely sure. But that would have been like the ice on the cake, to at least be able to make my keybinds the same as what I do use when I play on keyboard. It would have made the whole experience so much more manageable, and I probably would have played a lot better overall. So right, there we go, that is the KX Adaptor. This thing lets you play keyboard and mouse on the Switch, Xbox One, PS4 and PS3. Now, I'm super excited to try and use this to win a game of Fortnite on the Switch for using a keyboard and mouse, because I will argue this forever that playing Fortnite on the Switch, despite the fact that cross-platform is a thing, I still think it's easier to play on the Switch than other platforms. I think the lobbies are easier, and I'm not that great with using keyboard and mouse, so actually being able to use keyboard and mouse on the Switch in slightly easier lobbies would definitely be a lot more fun for me, and I'm definitely going to start doing that. So if you guys want to see me get a win on Fortnite using this thing, make sure you're subscribing and sticking around, because I'll be putting up a video on the channel very, very soon. But that is going to wrap up this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, slap a like on the video. Like I said, subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss me winning with this thing on the Nintendo Switch. And if you want to support the channel even further if you play Fortnite, please consider using code Doodles in your shop. It really does help us out. And once again, huge thank you to Supreme Factory for hooking me up with this. I've been trying to find a solution like this for many years, and I'm so glad that I finally got one. And yeah, thank you guys once again. But on that note, that is the end of the video. So my name is Doodles, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.